If there's anything that I hate on the internet, it's when someone gets away with lying. Now, luckily, we live in an age where a lot of people don't get away with lying anymore, and there's been a lot of backlash to that. A lot of people seem to think that free speech means freedom from consequences, and so whenever they say asinine stuff and people respond, they get angry that people are being held accountable nowadays. But honestly, there's so many people like this, and there's so many people mass firing off bad, dumb, harmful opinions about people that a lot of the times people just get away with it. And so today I wanted to do my own little call-out session. I wanted to call out somebody who misrepresented everything that happened to him in order to make his game succeed and lied about being a victim when in fact he is very much not a victim and he is the proponent of hate. But I'm not here to give my opinion just yet. I'm going to let the man of the hour speak for himself. So enter our protagonist, Artur Smiarowski. So Artur, in his own words, has been targeted by an LGBT extremist group that wants to change his game for the worst, and he has struck back. So I want to talk a little bit about what has happened. What is this? What's going on? Real quick, before we go further, I recorded the entirety of this video in mid-September, and now when uploading the video, it's nearing the end of October. Everything in this video still applies and has aged perfectly, and I will explain more at the end of the video, but I just wanted to explain why there's some date discrepancy when I say the word now. It was actually a month ago from now. Artur's game is Soulash 2. It's a little top-down indie roguelike survival game. I just wanted to show the game off right now so you see it and know what the game is. But the background footage of this video will not be of Soulash 2 because I didn't play Soulash 2 long enough to give an official review, and this is not a review of the game. I'll explain a little bit more about how I felt about the game at the end, but for right now, it's just not important. So according to Artur's tweet on the Steam community page on August 15th, someone in the community asked if they would implement same-sex marriage into the game because there's a system in the game where you can reproduce, and someone asked, will you implement same-sex marriages? To which Artur responded, no, we're not going to be doing that. He said the main purpose of family system is to create a legacy through children, and given our limited ways to interact with NPCs, I don't think there's a good way to represent relationships, so I don't plan to expand that right now, which is fine. No problem there. As you can see, the initial post got quite a few upvotes. People seem to like it. So this is where we're going to start seeing Artur kind of, I'm going to call him an unreliable narrator, and I'm going to explain a little bit. But according to him in this next message, he winds up saying that according to them, and when I say them, I'm going to the LGBT extremists, no doesn't mean no. Now that the reasoning has been exposed, if your response is reasonable, they know they don't have to be reasonable. Pushing is intended to annoy you and possibly gather support for more people. So take that into account when reading this next message, that this is intended to annoy Artur. This person says, sorry, allow me to rephrase. By same-sex marriages, I mostly just mean adding same-sex marriage in the same way the current system has been implemented for heterosexual couples. Since it seems that it doesn't matter the gender in the current system for babies to be made, it doesn't seem like same-sex marriages would affect anything on that end, and it would be nice for everyone in your community to be able to be represented across their journeys. So this person just says, hey, I meant kind of not in a systematic way, but in a literal way. Because Artur's response initially was like, no, there's a little bit too much. I'm not really planning on it because there's no good way right now to represent relationships, and there's just not a focus on the game towards relationships, so we can't do that. And this person says, yeah, but why can't we just, if there's already a system in the game for males and females to be married, why can't males and males do it? Isn't it just a simple code change where you can just change it to, okay, now males and females can mate? And for the record, there is no animation. There is when you have a kid, a stork comes and delivers your kid. So there's nothing that needs to be done in the game in order to make a same-sex marriage happen other than just him putting in a little bit of code. I don't know how coding works. I don't understand that side of gaming, so I'm not going to act like I know that. But there is a guide right now on the Steam page where the person showed how you can go into the game files and change a 1 to a 2 to change your sex. And so it seems pretty easy to do. So this person was kind of just asking for more clarification. But we can go back here and see that Artur says that this response is intending to annoy you and possibly gather support for more people. And it is a baiting attempt. This person is baiting, remember, with this post. So now he says that they've amassed the support and baited everyone. So now he claims that there's this big conversation about this and that it's blowing up. But this is a Steam discussion in which people discuss things that are being talked about. And right now, the main thing that's being talked about is this thing. So this isn't, the person's not going to Twitter and going to Reddit yet. They're not like expanding their communication. They're just talking and communicating. So once again, this isn't really a mass support and baiting everyone situation. It's just people giving their honest takes. And for some reason, Artur seems to think that this is amassing support and baiting everyone. So Artur then explains that the people are asking for his response because things are getting a little bit more inflammatory now. Some comments are being a little bit more mean, and someone went to Twitter with 25 likes on the post and said that they're upset because they're going to have to drop the game because of this change. I cannot confirm if this tweet exists or how many likes it has now, or even the comments on it, because he protected the person's identity by blurring them out. So then he goes to the Discord and makes a discussion thread for it on the Discord, which once again is a place for people to talk about it. So it's still civil Discord at this point. So then Artur responds and says, I think this topic has run its course. This conversation doesn't have anything to do with making the game better at this point. I've read everything on this channel and I won't change my mind. I will repeat what I said at the very beginning of this topic on Steam Community. I don't plan to implement relationships, sexuality, or sex. This is not what the game is about, and there are a lot better things to implement ahead. I'm locking this topic now. If anyone has a new worthwhile idea to add that would improve the game, feel free to message me in private. Which is fine. This is a fine response. This is completely reasonable and professional. This is on August 21st. Remember this date. The dates are getting very important now. We're going to have to pay attention to those. But I think it's interesting that he responded here and kind of shut it down when he made a discussion thread in Discord to talk about it, which is fair. So he opened up communication about it, and then he winds up saying that everyone is a bigot, targets get angry and lash out, everyone needs to be in flames, and everyone is angry. So he started a political thread on Discord that talks about LGBT, a sensitive topic in general on both sides. Both sides are sensitive to this thing, and both sides are going to have inflammatory remarks to say, and he opened a discussion for it, and now is kind of sarcastically throwing it back in their face and saying, oh, everyone's a bigot now. It's not that everyone's a bigot. I'm sure in that conversation that both sides said a lot of inflammatory things because you opened that door by allowing it on Discord. That was your decision. It's a fine decision, and I think your response is fine, Artur, but I don't think that you can be surprised when you open political discourse and there's political discourse. There's a reason that people just shut it down. Okay, so this is where the dates are going to get very important here. So Artur now says that people take to Steam and do a hate brigade, a hate downvote on his game. And there are many negative downvotes on his game that kind of crash his game. And then he claims that afterwards, after people do this, he goes to Twitter and he winds up making a post. Now, I'm not going to show the post, but just know the post is where these things matter. But just know he claims that people downvote bomb him, and then he makes a post talking about how he doesn't care that he's being downvote bombed. However, if you go to the Steam reviews, his tweet was on August 24th. Remember that date. August 24th is when he tweeted out. If you go to the Steam negative reviews, you can see on exactly August 24th, there's actually only one negative review from Steam on August 24th, and all the negative reviews come on August 25th. So before his tweet, which is the main thing that we're going to talk about, he only had 2 negative reviews on August 22nd, 2 negative reviews on August 23rd, and 1 on August 24th. So he claims that he got hate downvote bombarded, but at most there was only 5 negative reviews. Now, 5 negative reviews on an indie game are a lot of negative reviews, but I wouldn't really call it a hate mob. 5 people is not a mob. So let's go back to the tweet. He does claim that there are only 50 reviews, but he also says that there's 20 plus like and multiple community awards showing support, which is a very disingenuous way to put it because the community awards are almost entirely clowns. If you see here, 272 clowns. But this is where things get a little crazy because Artur says then after being downvote bombed, he winds up going to Twitter and making a completely innocuous post. My grandparents survived the Nazis. My parents endured communism. I have lived through religious oppression since I was the age of 10, and now some spoiled brats think I'll bend my knee to their rainbow flag or else they'll type some words. I already have a flag I'm proud of. August 24th, Artur Smiarowski. Now, I hope I don't have to explain the subtle nuance of comparing people asking about LGBT representation in your game to literal Nazis, in how 5 people downvoting the game and saying, "Aw man, like it stinks that there's no male-on-male marriage," does not require for you to go to Twitter, one of the most political spaces on the internet, and to call them Nazis, and to not even use LGBT terminology, but to call it the rainbow flag. It's demeaning terminology, it's Nazi comparison. It's insanity. It's absolutely insane. So then August 24th is the important date because that's when he started actually getting people to come on here and downvote him for his tweet. And as you can see, most of the downvotes are people just upset that he went on a homophobic rant on Twitter. Almost none of these downvotes are because they're mad at his original decision. I've read through all of them, and honestly, the very common thorough line in all of these reviews is that they're upset that Artur has made the game about politics, which is so funny to me because these people keep claiming that they're mad that politics are in their games, and now he's gone full circle and made the game all about politics by going to Twitter and making a clearly homophobic rant and now claiming that he's the victim of a hate mob when he incited it. What's even more crazy is this hate mob have about 30 negative reviews on day one. And as you see on the top one, it has 111 jester emojis, clown emojis, 29 clown emojis, 112 clown emojis. Clearly, once again, this hate mob is outweighed by the majority who's not the hate mob. So who's the mob here? And the craziest part too is you see all these upvotes here too. Guess what all the upvotes are for? Dev made the game he wants to play and didn't bend the knee to the cultist demanding he added something he wasn't interested in. Make the game you want to make. Based. The idea of standing up to an oppressive people advocating under the guise of inclusion, which really only means do exactly as we'll say or we'll try to ruin you. It's so crazy. Like 282 upvotes. Who's the mob? I'm trying to understand or see where your mob was. You had 4 to 5 people initially downvote your game because of a decision to exclude a group of people, which is fine. That's fine. Even on my videos, I've gotten a lot of downvotes. My first video is a 50% downvote ratio because I said something controversial. I disliked a game people like. And I guarantee you on this video, there's going to be downvotes and there's going to be people in the comment saying their asinine, crazy responses. And it's up to me as the developer and curator of this channel to not give a fuck. And if I do communicate with them, that's my choice. But you, Artur, threw a tantrum because 4 people went to Steam and downvoted it because of a choice you made. Make it clear, the choice you made is not a big deal to the vast majority of people. It's your tweet where you compared LGBT oppression to Nazis. And I'm so sick of this constantly happening where people put the stick in their own spokes and then they say, the bandwagon, the cancel culture. Cancel culture did not cancel you, Artur. You did when you went to the most political platform to make a hateful rant on a group of people. This was your choice. But let's take it one step further. Let's reel it back a little bit. Now that we know what has happened and how the community response is, let's see how Artur has handled it since then. Well, he responded to these original responses on August 29th, okay? On August 29th, August 29th, August 29th, August 29th. So he responded on August 29th to every single dislike. On August 29th, he responded. So let's see. Addressing the controversies and review bombing. Okay, great. I want to repeat what I said on Twitter. This is over. This is over for now. Please do not attack anyone over this. We know who did this, and we want it to not happen to others. We can monitor them and react if it does. Prove their narrative wrong, or remember that we need to convince good people, not them. Gaming time now. August 27th. So on August 27th, it is finished. August 27th, he posts that on Twitter, and then 2 days later, August 29th, he posts this on Steam. If you wish to discuss this topic any further, please contain it here. I will start monitoring the Steam community and get it back on track, so it will be about gaming. So he's done. Great. Good for him. I'm proud that he's done that. On August 29th, he posted this. On August 29th, he's done. Then why did on September 5th, why would he go back to the very original posts on September 5th and go reply there? September 5th. We saw another one that was September 5th. So why on September 5th? Why is he responding more now? There's September 6th. If it's over, why is he still posting about it? That's weird on old stuff. Maybe he just missed it. So surely Artur is done talking about it after August 25th. All right, here's his pin tweet. 5 hours ago. As of right now, as of recording this, it is September 13th. One soul decided to reflect on their actions. There's yet hope for humanity. After some time to reflect and seeing your response to me in discussion board, I've decided to separate myself. I am sorry for any ill will I caused you. It is unfortunate that you ultimately decided you cannot separate the LGBT community from bad actors, but I wish you the best regardless. I like how I don't think Artur understood what this person meant. This person meant they're leaving his community. This is another downvote thread. This is basically the thing. But he seems to think this is a win. And he posted this 5 hours ago. September 12th, more talking about it. September 11th, talking about it. September 11th, talking about it. September 10th, talking about it. September 9th, talking about it. It is so his Twitter is non-stop talking about this, guys. It is non-stop talking about it. I thought he was done on August 25th, but it turns out he's not. But if you want to know why he's doing it, if you want to know why this is happening, he said it himself in a tweet. Unfortunately, I can't find it at the moment. But he wound up saying that this is the best thing that's happened for his game because of all the publicity and how well the game is doing now. And I think that sums it up. I want to make one thing very clear here, that if this is pandering, if Dustborn is a game that was built on the back of attracting a specific audience and pandering, then this is the exact same thing. This is pandering. What he is doing is pandering. He is misrepresenting facts. He is overinflating this 1% of people, these original 4 people. He is saying that they are a hate mob that came after him and that he was innocent. He failed to even acknowledge that most of the hate, in fact, 99% of all the hate came after he posted this tweet, and all of that hate was because of this tweet. And he fails to mention how many people have supported him in this, including Asmongold and other big reviewers who are on his side. It's always strange to me how these people that are being oppressed by the hate mob have the mob on their side, the majority of people. Dude, you're out here getting bullied by 4 people? Come on. If Dustborn is pandering to a specific group of people and they failed because of it, Artur is doing the same thing. And am I mad at him for doing it? No, I think it's amoral what you're doing. I think it's amoral to appeal to a specific group of people by hating on a separate group of people just so your game can do well. And I think it's honestly very annoying to force politics in your game while touting that you're not forcing politics into your game. You started all of this. You fanned the flames the entire way and then acted like an innocent bystander the entire time. And yet you act like you're trying not to make politics a part of your game. But once you realize that making politics part of your game not only aligned with your morals, but made you money and got your game recognized, you kept fanning the flames. But I'm not mad at him. I think it's stupid, and I think it's disingenuous, and I think it's scummy. But what I'm really mad at is the gaming community in general. People like Asmongold, who we trust to really just be like a neutral party that looks at things and can give usually a pretty based take on stuff, completely sided with this guy without even looking at the actual reviews or looking at what people were saying. Because honestly, everybody now, it just seems like the gaming community really, really wants to hate wokeism. I don't know how else to put it, but they just really want to hate the f***s. I can say it because I'm half. But honestly, it's like, it's everything that I'm seeing lately with Concord and with Dustborn and now with this, it's like sometimes I feel like I am so estranged from the gaming community because they so desperately want to hate on a community for seemingly no reason, just because they think that wokeism is destroying their games, when really pride and greed and corporate slop is ruining gaming nowadays. Your game's not ruined because a man and a man can have sex, or even because a game was made around a man and a man having sex. And yet the gaming community just really wants these wins. And like, I guess I get it on one end. If I'm being an objective viewer, I see how what Artur did can be seen as this big W and this big, like, look at him, he stood up to the hate mob. But there was no hate mob. There was honestly just pretty reasonable people that were just upset that politics got shoehorned into their game. Most people that downvoted this game were just angry that this happened, because Artur, you let this happen, and it's scummy. And that's all there is to say. Alright, so thanks for sticking it out to the end. We are now in current time. It is near the end of October when I will be finishing this video and posting it. One small thing that I do have to redact from this video. Originally, I said that Artur in this tweet here said that he got review bombed, but he did specifically state in this tweet that he didn't get review bombed. I've just noticed this over going over and editing the video, but I'm not going to let him off the hook. And the reason that I'm not changing what I said is because he's saying in hindsight that this wasn't a review bomb because he knows if he says it, people will call him out. So he says it's not a review bomb, but then he gets review bombed because of his tweet. And now he conflates the two. See, in hindsight, he keeps referring to being attacked by LGBT. Even just a few minutes ago, he tweeted out, "It's been 2 months since the rainbow attack." So although in this original tweet, yes, he didn't say he was being review bombed, and so I did misspeak there, he still compares the two and uses them interchangeably because he conflates the entire thing that happened to him is the rainbow attack that he's talking about. And this is the why we can't let people like this off the hook. It's the whole argument of like, they're like, well, I didn't say anything homophobic, so clearly I'm not homophobic. But you are, and your way of acting is, and we hold you accountable to the entirety of a scenario. No, Artur, you didn't say anything homophobic. And just like in this tweet, you didn't say you were review bombed, but now when people look back on hindsight, you will say that you were attacked. And you will purposefully not make the distinction so that people understand that you were attacked because of your own doing, and you weren't just some innocent game dev who got attacked. You provoked the entire situation. That's why I'm correcting it here. I'm not going to go back and change it because honestly, it doesn't need to be fixed. The point is still the same. And I know people are going to attack me in the comments about it, that I got it wrong. But although I may have said 1 or 2 things that were wrong, my point still stands on this, is that Artur is just promoting hate and acting like he's innocent. So I just want to make that distinction and jump ahead of it before people start discrediting my entire video just because I misspoke on one thing. But yeah, that's everything. There's so much more since originally recording this that Artur said on Twitter that is just vitriolic and just filled with hate. And honestly, I just don't have the energy to scroll through it and look at more stuff and say more. I think I've said what needed to be said, but honestly, my only advice here is just don't let yourself get consumed by hate. I think it's very telling and interesting that Asmongold, one of the people I just previously mentioned in this video, just recently came out and said that he has been consuming too much media that has led to hate, and he doesn't want to be like that anymore. And I really do feel like that's related to this sort of red pill pipeline where you blame DEI and immigrants and gays and women and lesbians and blue hair for all of your problems, and not taking self-responsibility and accountability for stuff. I think it's awesome that he's taking accountability for himself and he's saying that he wants to change, because I think that letting yourself get consumed by hate like this and just trying to be a victim so hard of a certain people group is just a really unhealthy mentality to have. If you've ever unironically said the phrase that DEI is ruining your life, I think you might need to reevaluate where you're at in life. But my final piece of advice, B, is genuinely, if you do pick up this game, don't downvote it just because of this. Don't downvote it on behalf of me. Don't downvote it because of what he said. Don't. Like, you're just contributing to the problem. And I genuinely mean that. I think people need to be criticized based on what they've done, but I personally can separate art from artists. I genuinely wanted to do a review of this game, but it just didn't click with me. And I've seen the Steam reviews. There are a lot of people that it doesn't seem to click. And I didn't feel like I could give it a good review with, first off, my biases, but mostly just because it's not my type of game. So I didn't want to say stuff where I didn't know anything on it. If you do get the game, don't downvote it just because you dislike him. Downvote it if the game is bad, because that's how we fix it. We fix it by being better than these people and not contributing to this hate. But anyway, this channel is about loving games. It's not about being hateful. And I know that a lot of my videos have been negative on games, but being negative is kind of how I express my love for things. But my next video, I have another video planned. It's going to be coming out in less than a month. I know it's been like a month at a time, but hopefully I'm going to get this one out a little bit quicker. But I'm really excited for this next video. So like and subscribe. Thank you for being here. This is a new channel. I'm trying to get it off the ground, and I appreciate you watching till the end. Thank you.